Okay, here we go with another Transformer review. This time I'm doing Reveal the Shield Turbo Tracks, or as I like to call them, Tracks. Anyways, let's get started here by talking about the back of the package here, specifically the character bio. Just kind of pan up here and let's talk about that character bio. It says here, if there's one thing Autobot Tracks loves, it's himself. In his opinion, nothing is quite so fine as the glint of sunlight off his perfectly polished chrome, or the looks humans give his sweet paint job as he rolls by. He's no coward, but he avoids battle all the same, if only to protect his precious body from getting scuffed or even worse, dented. So yeah, that pretty much sounds like the usual Tracks that we all know and love, especially if you're familiar with G1 at all. But anyways, let's talk about the toy here, and let's just kind of pan in here and look at some of the detail on it here. And first of all, let's talk about the paint apps on here. And the first thing you'll notice is the little flame design here on the hood of the car. Now, some people have kind of complained about the way they did the flames on this guy. They would rather have had it, done like the traditional styling or flame styling, or like the way it was done on the G1 toy. Personally, I don't care either way. I think these look fine. I'm not really a big Tracks fan. I didn't really care for him either way on the original, G1 cartoon. Never owned the toy as a kid originally. I don't hate him, but it's not a breaking point with me, the flame pattern on this guy. I think this one looks fine. I think the original one looks fine. If it really bothers you that much, I don't know, grab some paint thinner and paint it off and put some different decals on there, your own paint flame pattern on there if you want. But anyways, enough about the flames. The other paint apps here, I really like the front end of the car here, the way they did that. If you kind of look in here, they got like some like clear plastic here, or it might just be silver paint. Yeah, it's just like a silver paint in here for like where the headlights would be. And also the grille here is kind of painted a dark, kind of metallic gray. And I think that looks very nice. I think it kind of breaks up the front end there, and it adds some detail to it that you usually don't get on some of the other deluxe class figures. Also, if you'll notice there, the hubcaps are painted, which is very nice. Oftentimes you find that you get these Transformer toys and the hubcaps are just all one solid black piece of plastic basically, which really kind of just reeks of laziness, and it just kind of misses the mark a bit. So having the wheels here painted, the hubcaps painted, looks a lot better, I think. And let's talk about the rear of the car. Not a whole lot going on here. Basically, just little tail light areas painted red. The rear windows just painted black. It's not transparent plastic at all. But the rest of the windows are like a kind of smoky black, like tinted clear plastics, and you can kind of see through there and see some of the robot parts in there, which isn't a big deal really. And not really a paint app, but he does have the little Reveal the Shield rub sign. Of course, this is just heat activated, so just put your finger on it and there you go. You'll see the little faction symbol kind of light up and fade away as the heat dissipates. But anyways, that's the paint apps basically on this guy. Let's talk about some of the features here of his alt mode. Now he does have the little missiles here. You'll kind of notice them right here on the underside. And you can do a couple things with these missiles. You can just leave them here like that, but they do actually pop off here from the underside, and they just clip on as part of the little clip system like some of the other figures have, and they just pop off like that. So if you have any other Transformer figures that use this little clip system, you can share these missiles with them, or swap accessories onto this figure or another one that has the same clip system. And what you can do with these missiles is you can put them in an alternate position on this guy. And I'm going to kind of jump forward here and get a little bit into the transformation, but basically if you pull this part back like so, see this little flap right here, this actually rotate around, and there's some little posts on it. Let's see, you got to kind of get in here, and let's see if I can get that pushed out like that, so you can see it there. Oh, there it goes, and rotate it around. And then now close this back up. Now you'll notice you got two little posts here on the rear of the car, and if you look at these missiles here, they have some little grooves molded into them right there, and that'll allow you to peg these on like so. Just kind of put that there like that. Oops, that one wasn't on all the way. Well, this one doesn't want to stay on for some reason. Make sure I got it. There we go. But yeah, so you can have them here like on the back. It looks a little silly because they're kind of resting right up against the window, and it looks like they just shoot the back of the car if they were to launch. But I guess you could, you know, pretend that they're like rocket boosters or something. Speaking of rocket boosters, this would make sense because he does have his little flight mode, which basically involves getting the doors out here. Now the doors here are kind of locked into place, and I don't know, it's kind of a pain to get these out just for this little, in my opinion, kind of a crappy flight mode. But basically, let's just kind of loosen up the front end of the car here. Again, kind of jumping forward here because this is basically how to transform him into the robot mode. And you just fold those car doors down like that, flip out these little parts here. Let's kind of pan out a little bit. And then you would just fold all this back up into place. And that's supposed to be his like flying car mode, which is just basically these extended out. Not sure if I have these quite right, but yeah, they just kind of hang down there like that, it looks like. I'm just kind of going off the top of my head here with this. I don't think I got them quite right, but I believe that's it. They just kind of hang down there. So yeah, it's really just kind of a crappy looking third mode. And I never really cared for the original Tracks' flight mode. I thought it was just something kind of tacked on, really, much like this. But anyways, let's kind of get him back into his alt mode here. And let's talk about doing the transformation on this guy. Just kind of show that off. I will say quickly about the transformation. I really like the transformation on this guy. I think that it's a pretty good job. It's not overly complicated and not overly simple. It's kind of a middle of the road, but yet it's very cool at the same time, I think. So let's just get these off of here and just kind of set them to the side, because you're going to have to pop those off anyways when you turn him into the robot mode. So what you want to do is basically start like what we did earlier when we were showing off this missile part back here. You just take this and bend it back, and that's going to reveal his arms. And also you'll see right in here is his little laser blaster. So just pull this whole part back. And you do have to position this laser blaster like it is here. Otherwise, if you have it turned around the other way, it kind of wants to hit his head, and it doesn't allow this rear portion to fold up quite right in his alt mode. So go ahead and get this out of here. Just kind of pull it out, and it should just kind of pop off here. And let's just set him to the side, and I'll just show his little laser cannon here real quickly. There it is there. It's just kind of folded up, and you just basically unfold it. And now there's his little blaster. And it does have the same little clip system here on the back. So you can attach this on other ports on him in his robot mode, or share it with another figure that has the same little clip system. So let's just set that to the side. And right there's his arms, kind of sticking up. So just kind of leave those there for the time being. And what you want to do is just pull the front end of the car down like that. And that's basically going to be his legs. Then you can just pull these doors down like that, kind of straighten them out. And you can lift this part up. The hood actually lifts up, and then you can rotate his legs around so that they're facing the proper way, and then just split them apart like that. Now his feet here are a little tricky. You might want to be a little careful with these, in that these here are his feet right here, but don't try pulling these down. You actually got to pull this part like down like this, and then just kind of rotate it back, and that'll bring that whole foot around. So again, just kind of go down like this and just rotate it back. I find that's the easiest, at least for me. And there's his feet there. So let's go ahead and do that. And then you can just go ahead and pull this window back down. And let's go ahead and straighten his arms out here. Just kind of do them like that. And you can kind of take these, just rotate them down. Now his tires here, you want to just take and flip around like this so that they're facing kind of inward. And you can actually go ahead and just start rotating his arms out if you want. So let's go ahead and do his arms here like this. And let's rotate that tire around so that it's facing the front end of him, like so. And you'll see his head there is kind of tucked away. And what you do with this is basically grab the hood of the car and just push up, and it's going to slide his head up, kind of like a little bit of an automorph feature. So just grab it like this and push it up so it goes all the way up, and that'll extend out these parts here of its shoulders here. And just kind of adjust his arms here so that the joint is facing towards you, and then just rotate his wrists or hands. Again, just do this. Let's rotate his hand around. And then you can just extend out his little wing flaps here, like so. And almost done here, just a couple of little steps. Now these here actually will slide out, just pull them out, like so. And then once you get them in this position, you can just kind of rotate them up so they're kind of like at a 45-degree angle, like that. That's going to kind of give him like his little wings there. And then you can just take this whole rear portion of the car and fold it back. It's going to become like a little backpack here. But there's this little flap in here, this gray part right there. You want to just get this out like that. And then it's got these two little posts, and they're going to kind of peg in right back in here. And be careful with this part because the plastic here is a little thin where they peg in. Just kind of push it in. Shouldn't have to put too much force into it, and it'll just kind of snap right into place like that. And with that, you now have him in his robot mode. And you just kind of line up his little wings there however you like. Okay, let's take a look at him there. I really like his robot mode. I think it's pretty sturdy actually. The thing I really like about it is it stands very well. I think they did a good job with the feet. It has a nice big base to balance him, and he's not real floppy. He doesn't really tend to want to tilt one way or the other. So I think that's a good job that they did here with his robot mode. And let's kind of go in here and just take a look at him up close and look at the detail on him. Kind of straighten out his head there a little bit. Oops, let's see. There we go. So there he is there. He's got the typical white with the red face. Pretty good job there. It does have some light piping in it, but it's really kind of hard to see. The little openings for his eyes aren't very big, but you can see back there is a little like clear plastic. He is kind of beefy looking. Some people have kind of complained about that here. You know, he looks kind of fat, but it's really not bad at all once you really have him. It doesn't look bad at all, really. Just kind of go on down here. There's his legs, his feet. Like I was saying, these are nice and sturdy. Has nice big heels back here to help balance them. So yeah, all in all, I think they get a really good job here with the robot mode. And let's just kind of turn him around here in the back. Kind of look at him there. So pretty good job. Like I said, not a lot of kibble. He does have a little bit of a backpack here, but I think it kind of blends in well with the rest of him. And let's talk about his little weapons now. Basically, you can attach these back on these little ports here, and they just clip on like that, and clip on like that. And there you go. Now he's got his, you know, little trademark shoulder-mounted missiles there sticking up. And his weapon here can just kind of peg right into his little hand It's open, it doesn't close at all, but it's molded in such a way that it just kind of like pegs in there and holds it fairly securely. You do got to kind of get it just right though. There you go. So yeah, now he's got his little hand cannon there. And let's talk about the articulation on him. Pretty good job with the articulation, really. The head doesn't move a whole lot. It's on like a little ball joint, but it can't really look up or down a whole lot. Basically, you're kind of limited to left and right movement. The shoulders here are ball jointed, so typical ball joint. Range of motion, you can rotate them here like at the upper bicep, like so. Elbow bends, it's kind of like double jointed. The wrists can rotate. He does have waist rotation, like that. The hips are ball jointed, so typical ball joint. Range of motion, the knees here do bend, and I think they also rotate like that. And the feet here kind of go up and down, but there's no real left or right movement to them. The foot part here is on a little bit of a ball joint, but really it doesn't really look to move left or right, just kind of up and down mostly. Let's kind of get him here standing up straight. So yeah, I think pretty good with the articulation on him. So you should be able to get some decent poses out of him. And as a little comparison, let's bring in another Reveal the Shield figure, another deluxe class guy, and this is Reveal the Shield Jazz. So you can kind of just get a sense of these two together here. And this Jazz guy is again kind of floppy, but we'll just stand him up there like that. So let's just kind of pan up here. There we go. So yeah, he's a little bit shorter than Jazz, not a whole lot, but I think he's actually a better figure than Jazz. I just like the transformation on this guy, and the details a lot better, I think. So anyways, let's talk about my closing thoughts on this guy. I would say I actually like this guy a lot more than I thought I would. I think he's probably the best deluxe class figure of the Reveal the Shield line so far, at least the ones that I've gotten. I like the transformation. It's not too complicated. It's not too simple. I think the paint apps are good on this guy. Articulation is good on this guy. And it's just a cool looking figure all around. So yeah, I'd say definitely go out and get this guy. If you're a big Tracks fan, it's definitely a very good version of him. If you're looking to just add to your Transformers collection, you really can't do wrong getting this guy. So anyways, I think that'll do it here for my look at Reveal the Shield Turbo Tracks.